So make your way on down to your back. And just have your feet planted against the mat, knees are up to the sky. And then you can heel toe your feet out to the edges of the yoga mat. Knees can come in and touch one another. The hands can rest on the sides or on the belly, wherever is most comfortable. Starting to connect with the breath. Once you've had a moment to settle, we'll readjust the feet so that they're hip-width distance apart. Knees are up to the sky, slightly separated. And we'll just bring the hands by our side, lifting the hips. We'll shift them over to the right. We'll lift the head up, shift it over to the left. And we're going to form this banana shape. So we'll send both legs over to the left front corner of the mat. And you can cross one ankle over the other. And then once you get there, you can reach the arms overhead, grabbing opposite elbow or grabbing a wrist. Once you find this banana pose, try to press both hips down into the mat, feeling this long side body stretch across the right side of the body. I always feel like this pose feels like a big good morning yawn. Breathing deeply into that right side. And we'll unhook the ankles if they're hooked. Slowly make our way back to center. Bring the arms by our sides once more. Feet come to the mat. Knees up high. And we'll take the same thing on the left. So adjusting the hips up and over to the left. We'll lift the head off of the mat, shift it over to the right even more. And then send the ankles towards the right front corner of the mat. Hooking one ankle over the other, whichever feels best, and then pressing both of those hips down into the mat. The arms can reach overhead. Really sending the breath to any tight areas that you may find. And we'll slowly unwind, coming back to center, realigning the body, and then bringing the feet back to the mat, knees up to the sky. From here, we'll lower the hands down to the sides of us, and we'll do a couple bridges. So pressing the feet down, we'll squeeze those knees towards one another and lift the hips up off the mat, moving through one vertebrae at a time. And then we'll exhale, lower down through the spine, lower back, tailbone. Two more like that. Big inhale, rolling through the back, pressing up. Squeezing at the top. And exhale, lower down. And curl the tail, rolling up. Notice if the knees want to shake, try to stabilize them by pressing into the feet. We'll stay here, holding this pose for about 3 cycles of breath. So squeeze those knees towards one another. Really feeling the backs of the legs turn on. And last breath here. And lower down, slowly rolling through the spine. We'll draw the knees into the chest, giving yourself a nice hug. You can rock from side to side, massaging the lower back. And then we'll grab behind the legs, just rock back and forth until you come up to your seats. Once you get up, we'll make our way to all fours, tabletop pose. So aligning our shoulders over our wrists, knees right underneath the hips. Really feeling all 10 fingers pressing into the mat. Trying not to press the elbows super straight, but keeping a slight bend. And then reaching the crown away from the tail to lengthen the spine. Let's drop the belly. Gaze comes forward. Big inhale. And exhale, round. Drop the belly, inhale. Exhale, round. And you can just continue with this motion, moving from cat to cow. Placing a little extra time, maybe some side-to-side movement along the way. Working into any of those tighter spots. We'll slowly find neutral, reaching the crown and tail away from one another. And we'll reach the right arm to the sky. Big inhale, opening the chest. And on an exhale, we'll thread it through. Right shoulder coming down to the mat. And you can keep this left hand pressing against the mat, or you can reach it up to the sky and take a bind, wrapping it around and connecting it to the thigh crease on the right side. Both good options. So whatever works best for your body. We're continuing to breathe deeply into those tight areas. And we'll press that left hand down, reach that right arm back up to the sky, and lower it down, finding neutral again. Left arm lifts, big inhale. And exhale, thread it through. Left shoulder comes down, really pulling that hand through, opening the heart up to the right wall as much as possible. Once again, that bind is an option. You can reach that right arm around and hook it onto the left thigh crease. We'll unwind mind, planting the right hand, reaching the left arm back up to the sky. Lower it down. And let's just sit the hips back for child's pose. So you can open the knees nice and wide, sinking the hips back, just taking a moment to take the weight off of the hands, out of the wrists. And we'll lift up, coming back to center. Making sure the knees are underneath the hips once again. Hands are shoulder width apart. And we'll send that right leg back behind us. So lifting it up off the ground in line with the spine. And then we'll send that left arm forward, finding a nice balance here. Holding here for a moment. And as you stay there, find your core. We'll keep the arm and the leg straight, and we're going to pull the leg and arm to the sides of the room. So I'll face you if you want to take a quick peek of the camera. We're going to take the arm and the leg out to the side and bring it back center. So we'll take that 3 times. So here we go. Reaching that left arm to the side, right leg to the side, engaging the core, and back to center. Again, out to the side, and center. Last time, out to the side, center, hold it here. We'll open that leg out to the side this time, dropping the foot down. So you're coming into this bridge variation. The foot is flat on the mat. There you go. Nice. And we'll stay here for a moment. Let's plant our right hand. Left arm reaches up to the sky. And then we'll thread it through. So the left hand should be reaching towards the right toes. You have an option here to grab a hold of that right toe with your peace fingers, if you can do that. And if not, you're just reaching. Breathing deeply. And if you're holding onto your toes, we'll release that. Unwind, bring both hands back to the mat. And now we're going to walk our hands the opposite direction, so away from the right foot. You're going to lower your left hand down. Your right arm is going to reach overhead and bring that hand out further than your shoulder. So your arm is kind of on a diagonal. And then we'll lift that right leg up. From here, we'll lower the hips down, reaching the right arm to the sky. And then press the hips up, reach the arm overhead. 2 more like that. Lower the hips, arm reaches to the sky. And then back, arm overhead. Last one, sink the hips down, arm reaches up. And arm reaches up to the sky. We'll lower that right leg down, take a nice side body stretch here. Pressing that right side up to the ceiling. We'll lower the right hand down, walk it in just slightly, and then we'll lift all the way up, cartwheeling over the top and all the way over the right leg. So the right hand is down, left arm is reaching up. We'll lift the body up, swivel it to face that right leg. We'll come onto the heel of that right foot. And then sink the hips back. And from here, you can walk the hands out, folding over that leg in whatever way feels best. We'll walk the hands back in front of us, press back up to that gate pose, and then we'll start to swivel, bringing the right leg behind us, toe connected to the mat, and we'll bring it all the way across, looking towards it. We'll pull that right knee in to cross behind the left knee, kick both feet out to the sides, and we'll start to press the hips back, taking a nice stretch in the hips. We'll unwind, coming forward, coming back to our tabletop position. And let's just take a quick seat back, roll out the wrists, take a quick break here. And we'll come forward to take the whole thing on the second side. So coming forward, we'll extend that left leg this time, hovering off the mat, making sure the hips are in line with one another. And we'll reach the right arm forward. Holding here, finding the core. We'll take an inhale to reach the thumbs and the heels in opposite direction. And on an exhale, we'll reach hand and leg out to the side. Inhale, reaching forward and back. Exhale, reach arm and leg to the side. Really finding the core working here. Last time, reach it front and back. Reaching the arms and legs side. Bring the arm and leg back and front. And then we'll bring that leg back out to the side. Reach the right arm up to the ceiling. And we'll thread it through. Right shoulder coming down. Reaching towards that left toe. And if you can, try to hook your peace fingers onto your left big toe. And if you want to add another layer to this, you can always take a bind around your lower back. But that's only if you're super comfortable and confident in this position. If you took the bind, bring that hand back to the mat. And we'll unwind, bringing both hands back down. We'll start to walk the hands over to the right side. And then walking that right hand out a little bit further than in line with the shoulder. We'll reach the left arm up overhead. I don't have much space here, so I'm going to go on an angle so you can see me. And we'll lift that left leg up off the mat, so we're in a nice long line. We'll lower the hips, reach the arm up towards the sky. And lift back up, arm reaches overhead. 2 more like that. Lowering, drop the hips, and lift. Last one, lower, and lift. We'll let the leg and the arm reach from one another. The leg falls to the ground. Big side body stretch. Left hand comes down to the mat. We'll walk those hands in just a little bit more. I'll readjust. And then we'll cartwheel all the way up using the core, and we'll fall over that leg, taking a side bend. Right arm up, left arm down. We'll come back up. Both arms will frame that left foot this time coming onto the heel, flexing the toes up to the sky, and we'll sit those hips back, taking a fold. And just going as far as feels comfortable. If this is your first movement of the day, you might be a little bit tight in the hamstrings. So really thinking about keeping this left leg active and just going as far as feels good. We'll bring both hands in front of us, come back to our tabletop, leg out to the side still, so we're still in our gate pose, and we'll bring that toe all the way around behind us and drag it all the way over to the right side. You can look towards it to get a little extra stretch here, and then we'll drag left knee behind the right, kicking the heels out to the sides, and we'll pull the hips back. And be gentle here, you will feel a stretch. Come back forward and unwind. Let's open the knees nice and wide. Take another child's pose, sinking those hips back. Maybe this time connecting the palms into your prayer pose, connecting the elbows to the earth, and bringing the thumbs to the back of the neck so we can start opening up the shoulders. We'll release the hands back down. Coming back up through tabletop, we'll tuck the toes and make our way to our first downward facing dog. So lifting those hips up, keeping a slight bend in the knees. The heels don't have to come fully down. Just working to flatten the spine and reach the sit bones towards the sky. You can pedal it out here, dropping one heel at a time. And we'll slowly start to walk the hands back to the feet. So pressing the palms down and bringing them all the way back. Forward fold at the back of the mat. Making sure the feet are hip-width distance apart and just let the head hang loose. Keeping that bend in the knees. Maybe nodding the head yes and no. And we'll press into the heels as we send the sits bones towards the ground, rolling all the way up to stand, Tadasana. Take a moment in your Tadasana to just check in with the feet. See if they're rolling out towards the edges, maybe rolling in towards the arch. We're leaning on our heels or we're crunching our toes. So try to flatten the entire foot down, spread the weight evenly. And keeping the eyes closed, we'll just reach the arms down, out, and up to the sky, joining the palms together and bring them down to the heart. 2 more like that, keeping the eyes soft. Inhale, arms reach down, out, and up. Take a little stretch at the top. Hands draw together and come down to the heart. Then we'll take one more, making the arms circle as large as they can, sending them down, out. As they reach up, take a slight back bend. And exhale, drawing the palms together and down to the heart. From here, we'll reach both arms back up to the sky. We'll interlace the fingers, letting the pointer finger come out, so the index finger, and we'll reach them up to the sky. From here, we'll reach those fingers and hands all the way over to the right side. Let the hips tip over to the left. Come back to center. Going the other direction, we'll let those fingers draw over to the left. Hips can tilt over to the right. Coming center. Keeping the hands interlaced, they'll come down so you can see me. We're going to bring this position right behind our head, keeping our fingers really tightly pulling on each other, and then pull the elbows back, open the chest, take a little back arch here. Really small, no reason to push, just feeling the shoulders and the chest open. Nice, coming back to center. We'll release the arms down, coming back to our Tadasana. We'll bring the toes together, heels slightly apart, sink the hips down, taking our chair pose. Utkatasana. So really sinking the hips back, sending the weight more towards the heels. And we'll stretch the knees, fold over. Inhale, flat back, reaching the crown away, hands connect to the shins or thighs. And then exhale, hands come down. We'll bend the knees, walk it out, plank pose. Inhale to look forward, pressing all 10 fingers into the mat. And we'll slowly lower down to the belly, hovering at our center point, so coming through chaturanga, and lower all the way to the belly. Elbows are drawing in. We'll untuck the toes, press up, cobra. Exhale, lower down, and send the hips back, downward facing dog. We'll walk the hands all the way back to the feet, forward fold. Connecting the toes, heels are slightly apart. We'll inhale, flat back, reaching the crown away. And exhale, sink those hips down, reach the arms up, sit those hips back, chair pose. Pressing into the feet, we'll come to stand, Tadasana, hands draw together and down to the heart. We'll sink those hips down, taking our chair pose, Utkatasana. And fold over. Inhale, flat back. Hands come down, we'll walk it out. Plank pose. Finding a nice long plank. We'll inhale to look forward. As we lower, we'll try to hover in chaturanga. Lowering down, elbows drawing into the sides of the body. Find this position. And then lower all the way down. Untuck the toes. Inhale, press up. Cobra. Shoulders are pressing down. Exhale to lower and press back. Downward facing dog. We'll walk the hands back to the feet. Flat back, reaching the crown away. And exhale, hands come down. We'll come chair pose, reaching the arms forward, hips reaching down and back. Squeezing those knees together, sinking the hips a little bit lower. And we'll press to stand, Tadasana. Hands together and down to the heart. Last set, we'll reach those arms forward, Tadasana. Sinking down, chair pose. Sink those hips even further, trying to get as low as you can. And then forward fold, dive it over. Inhale, halfway lift, reaching the crown away. And exhale, hands come down, walk it out, plank pose. This time you can separate your feet a little bit. You have the option to lower all the way down to the belly and then come to cobra, or take your chaturanga to upward facing dog. So we'll inhale to look forward. Exhale, lowering down, elbows drawing into the side body. We'll come into our back bend, cobra or up dog, and then send it back, downward facing dog. Take a second pedaling out the feet, noticing if we have any more space in the backs of the legs now. Bringing some heat into the body. And we'll inhale, reaching the right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. And you can bend the knee, open up the hip. Reaching the knee up to the sky. We'll re-extend, swivel back to parallel. And we'll draw that knee to the right bicep. So pulling it out to the side, squeezing here. From here, we're going to draw circles with the knee. So scooping the knee down and then pulling it up into the belly. So if you're not sure what we're doing, you can take a look at the camera. It's just drawing small circles. So here we go. We'll scoop that knee down and inhale, pull it up. Two more. Down, pull it up. Last one, scoop it down, pull it up, and then send that leg back, three-legged dog. We'll draw the knee in and step the foot through in between the hands, coming into our runner's lunge. Back knee stays lifted. Hands are planted. We'll plant the left hand, reach the right arm to the sky, taking our easy twist. Trying not to let the hips move as the upper body twists, but rather keeping the hips square still. We'll lower that right hand down to the outside of the right foot, and then we'll reach the left arm up. So this is a balancing act. Try your best not to collapse over to the side, really squeezing that right knee into the right arm. Lowering down. We'll step that back foot in just an inch or so, and then reach both arms forward, coming into a flat back. So nice long position with the body. Arms are reaching overhead, squeezing both hips, both legs towards the midline. We'll let this pose extend all the way up to a high lunge, and then let the elbows bend, cactus arms. Letting these cactus arms melt you all the way back down. Runner's lunge. We'll step the right foot back, coming into our plank pose on the left hand, so facing the right wall. Stacking right foot over the left. Breathing here. And thinking of threading the right hand through. We'll lower that right shoulder or elbow down, right hand pointed towards the left wall, and then we'll come to a forearm plank on our second side. Taking that same threading action, left arm crosses over the top of the right arm, and then we'll come to our side plank on our right side again. Taking that same action, the right arm is going to cross underneath the left, coming back to our side plank on the left. We'll lower that left hand back down, adjust so that both of our hands are parallel, our forearms are parallel, we're in air. We're in our forearm plank, and we'll start to tiptoe the feet up as close as we can towards our elbows. If you start to feel a shake, that's natural. We're here for 3, for 2. On the 1, start to walk the feet back, coming into our forearm plank. We'll drop the knees and sit those hips back, child's pose. Take a moment to rest here. Breathing deep. And we'll shift forward. Tuck the toes and send the hips back. Downward facing dog. We'll take the same thing on the left side. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open up the hip. We'll square off the hips, re-extend the leg, and we'll draw left knee into the left tricep. So pulling that knee to the side, and then we'll take that same circling action. So dropping the knee towards the mat, scooping it up and in and back out. So here we go. We drop the knee down. Inhale, scoop it up. Drop the knee down. Inhale, scoop it up. Last time, drop the knee down. Inhale, scoop it up. Send it back, three-legged dog. And exhale, step it through, runner's lunge. So making sure that that left knee is right over the left ankle. And we'll take our easy twist. Right hand plants, left arm reaches to the sky. Left hand comes down to the outside of the left foot. Squeezing knee and arm towards one another. We'll reach the right arm up to the sky, taking a twist. Right hand comes back down. We'll step that back foot in about an inch or so and start to reach the arms forward, coming into a nice flat back. Keep that breathing steady. We'll press all the way up, high lunge, and then let the elbows bend, taking our cactus arms. Let those cactus arms melt you all the way down. And we'll step that left foot back, coming into our side plank. So on the right hand, we'll reach the left arm to the sky. And we'll take that same threading through action. So threading that left arm through, bringing the forearm down, and we'll switch, coming to a side plank on the right side, forearm plank. Lifting those hips up, trying to keep them square. And we'll take the threading through action with the right arm crossing over the top, coming to the other side. Pressing those hips up. One more side plank. And we'll thread it through, coming underneath this time, side plank. Bringing both forearms down, we'll adjust, coming into our forearm plank so the fingertips are reaching towards the front of us. Our arms are parallel to one another, and we'll tiptoe the feet in. Trying to keep the hands firmly pressing down. Breathe deeply. One more cycle of breath here. You can do it. And we'll walk those feet out, forearm plank. Dropping the knees down, we'll sit the hips back, taking a child's pose. Pressing back up, we'll tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. And we'll step that foot right through, coming into our high lunge. So reaching the arms up overhead. We'll draw the hands together at the heart, coming into prayer. And we'll take our prayer twist. So twisting, bringing the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, And letting the gaze shift, trying to connect the thumbs to the center of the chest. We'll unwind, coming into our warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Sinking deep into this warrior, nice and strong. Feeling the legs working. And you can either bring the right elbow onto the knee, or right fingertips can come down to the mat. We'll sweep the left arm up overhead. Coming into our side angle pose. Really thinking of drawing that left arm back, opening the chest. And we'll lift back up, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, reach it up and back, reverse triangle. Coming through warrior two, we'll bend the front knee, coming back down, side angle. We'll take two more like that. So lifting up through warrior two, stretch the front leg, reverse trikonasana. Bending the front knee, coming through warrior two, side angle. Lifting back up, straightening the front leg, we'll reach it back. And exhale, coming through and forward, hand comes down, side angle. From here, draw your left hand to your hip, and we'll just walk those fingertips out a little bit further, stepping the back foot in a couple of inches. We're going to come into our half moon pose. So we'll reach those fingertips down and press all the way up, kicking that back leg towards the back wall. And once you get here, see if you can extend that top arm. This is a balancing pose, so we're really trying to connect with the inner balance, trying to find focus, looking at something to help you. Breathing here for 3, for 2. On the 1, we'll bend the standing leg, step it back, warrior 2. We'll interlace the fingers behind the back, shift the shoulders towards the front left corner, reach the knuckles away, coming into our humble warrior. Fold it over. We'll release the hands gently, framing the front foot. Shift back, runner's lunge, and we'll press back, three-legged dog. Bending the right leg. And we'll come into our flip dog here. So you're more than welcome to stay where you are, or we'll lower that right leg towards the left shoulder, reaching the right arm up to the sky. Hips pressing high. Come back, plank pose. Take your vinyasa. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, lowering down, belly to cobra or chaturanga to upward facing dog. We'll meet in down dog, pressing the hips up. Inhale, second side, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. And step it through, high lunge. Prayer twist. Trying to align the hands with the center of the heart. Unwind, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Side angle, we'll reach that left arm down to the inside of the left leg or elbow to thigh, reaching the right arm up and over. Lifting through warrior two, we'll stretch the front leg, taking our reverse trikonasana, reaching that left arm back. And melt it forward, side angle. Come through, reverse trikonasana. Come forward, side angle, bending the front knee. Lifting up, reverse trikonasana, straightening the front leg, reaching the arms back. And last time, we'll melt forward, side angle. Coming into our half moon, we'll shift the right hand to the right hip. Step the back foot in just a couple of inches. Reach the left fingertips up in front of the left foot. And we'll shift up, pressing that right foot into the back wall, opening the body up to the right wall. And if you feel stable, you can extend that right arm up to the sky. Find your focus. Find your drishti. One more breath here. We'll bend the standing leg, step it back, warrior two. Trying to be as graceful as possible. We'll interlace the fingers behind the back, maybe the opposite way that we did the last time. Reaching the knuckles away. And we'll fold it down, coming into our humble warrior. Releasing the hands down, framing the front foot, we'll come back into our runner's lunge. And we'll send it back, three-legged dog. Left leg kicks up to the sky. Bending that left knee, you can either stay here or flip your dog. Left foot lowers towards the right shoulder, and we'll reach that left arm up over. Breathing deep here. And we'll come back to our plank pose. Take your vinyasa. Inhale to look forward, belly to cobra or chaturanga to upward facing dog. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. Taking a moment, realign yourself with your breath. We'll start to walk our hands back towards our feet. Forward fold. Bend the knees. We'll slowly roll up through the spine, back to Tadasana. We'll take a standing balance here. So let's draw the right knee into the chest, rolling the ankle one direction. Trying to find your balance. And then the other. Let's grab a hold of that right leg with our left arm and then reach the right arm back behind us, taking a twist. We'll only be here for a minute, so try not to hold your breath. Unwind, come back to center. Let's cross right ankle over left knee, start to sink the hips down, and we'll take eagle arms. So crossing right arm underneath the left, bending at the elbows and trying to wrap the arms once or twice. Lifting the elbows up, dropping the shoulders. We'll try to sink even deeper into this pose. Keeping a strong flex in that right foot to protect the knee. We'll unwind the arms, reach them up to the sky, pull that right knee into the chest once more. And we'll kick that right leg behind us, coming into our standing splits. So take a moment, a leap of faith, falling towards the ground. And then we'll walk it out, three-legged dog, keeping that leg up high. We'll draw the knee across the body, sending the heel out to the left side of the room, taking our fallen triangle, reaching the left arm to the sky. We're on the inside edge of the left foot, outer edge of the right, hips are square. Left hand will come down and we'll pull that leg in, coming into our pigeon pose. So adjusting the legs in whatever way they need to be. We'll come to the fingertips, take a moment to breathe in, inhaling, open the chest, and exhale, fold it over. We'll start to lift up, hands come down to the mat. We'll tuck the back toes, send it back, downward facing dog. You're welcome to take a vinyasa here, or you can skip it. If you're taking the vinyasa, you'll come forward, lower the belly, lower down, lift up, take your back bend, and send it back, downward facing dog. We'll walk the hands in to meet the feet. And we'll slowly roll up to stand. We'll take this whole thing on the second side, so drawing the left knee into the chest, rolling the ankle one way, and then the other. We'll take our standing twist, grabbing a hold of that left leg with the right hand, and we'll take a twist, reaching the left arm around and back. You can keep a slight bend in the standing leg so you don't hyperextend. We'll unwind, coming back to center, cross the left ankle over the right knee, sink those hips back, and taking eagle arms. So we'll cross the left arm underneath the right, bending at the elbows, wrapping the arms once or twice, trying to connect the palms or the backs of the hands. Reach those hips towards the ground, trying to find balance. Focusing on the breath. We'll gently unwind the arms. Reach that knee into the chest, reach the arms overhead. And we'll come into our standing splits, kicking that left leg back, reaching the arms down, trying to find the ground with control. And we'll walk it out, three-legged dog. Keeping that left leg lifted. And we'll draw the knee across, coming into our fallen triangle. We're on the inner edge of our right foot, outer edge of the left, right arm, left. This is the right arm is reaching towards the sky. Hips are square. Right arm will come back down, and we'll come into our pigeon pose, pulling the knee behind the left wrist, adjusting the hips so that they're square. We'll come to the fingertips, open the chest, big inhale here. And exhale, fold it over. Start to lift back up. This is our last call for vinyasa. You can take it or leave it. We'll send that left leg back to meet the right plank pose. Inhale to lower. Exhale, come down. Inhale, press up, cobra. And then exhale, send it back. Come straight to your child's pose. You're always welcome to take one more downward facing dog if that's what your body needs right now. And then make your way down to your child's pose. Open the knees nice and wide. Rest the forehead down on the mat. We'll walk the hands back. And we'll come to our seat. Sending the legs out in front of us. And we'll have them placed on the mat so our knees are bent. Bringing the hands next to our hips. Fingertips facing the front of the room. And we'll take a reverse tabletop. So pressing the hips up to the sky. You can let your chin hang back if that feels good. Otherwise, keep your chin tucked. Pressing those hips high, opening up. Slowly lower the hips down. We'll extend the legs and just roll all the way down onto your back. We'll bring both knees into the chest. We'll cross right leg over the left, so crossing at the knees. Shift your hips over to the right and let both knees fall to the left. If this feels like too much on your knees or on your hips, you can stack the knees instead. You can let the right arm reach in opposition. Unwind the legs, come back to center. We'll cross it the other direction, so shift the hips back to center. We'll cross left knee over the right. Hips will shift to the left, and we'll let the knees fall to the right. Left arm is extended. And the gaze can look over towards the left arm or up to the sky, whatever feels best. Unwind the legs, come back to center. We'll find our Supta Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet together, knees are wide. You can either rest your hands on your inner thighs or on your belly. Allow your eyes to soften here as we let the body melt into its final rest. Take a few breaths here before we shift into Shavasana. Noticing how the body feels. Noticing any changes that may have occurred during the last 60 minutes. We'll slowly start to extend both legs, coming into our Shavasana. You are always welcome to stay in your Supta Baddha Konasana if you're finding that to be very comfortable. Wherever you are, just allow the body to rest completely. So any lingering thoughts, any remaining tightness or gripping, take this final moment to release it, let it go, and let the body take this final moment to fully surrender, fully release. Start to deepen the breath. Sending small movements towards the fingers and toes. Reaching the arms overhead to take one last full body stretch. And let everything round over onto the right side. Take a moment in this fetal position to feel the weight of the body. Feel a moment of safety and security before we enter into the rest of our day. Using the hands, we'll press our way up to a seat, keeping the eyes soft and the body heavy. We'll draw the hands together at the heart. Just take a moment to ground yourself, to feel this thumb connection to the center of your chest. We'll take our final bow. Namaste.